uses differential signals for data transmission. It improves the noise immunity. Means if you are using these type of USB buses, it will use the differential signals. For that reason, data transmission will be easier and it will reduce the noise also. USB interface has the ability to supply power to the connecting devices. Whatever the USB's interface we are doing, it will also supply the power supply to the connected devices. Two connection lines, that is ground and power, of the USB interface are dedicated for the carrying power. Whatever the ground and power lines are there, those two lines are always transmitting the power from your host device to the peripheral device. Okay, and if the power supply is up to 500 milliamps at 5 volts, it can supply up to 500 milliamps at 5 volts, and it is sufficient to operate low power devices also. And mini and micro USB connectors are available for small form factor devices like portable media players. All those things are your smaller and micro USB connectors. And each USB device contains the product ID and vendor ID, that is VID and PID, and embedded into the USB chip by the USB device manager, and the VID for the device is supplied by the USB standard forms. Whatever the USB standard forms are there, with respect to that, vendor ID will be generated. That is, PID and VID are essential for loading the drivers corresponding to the USB device for communication. See, whenever you are connecting any USB device with respect to the external device, like your pen drives or like your USB connection directly to the mobiles, or USB connection directly to the power banks, or USB connection directly towards the hard drives or hard disks. Okay, if you are connecting that, always you will be installing the software into the host device to communicate with respect to the external device. For that reason, to those software installations, you need to have drivers. Those drivers can be implemented properly or installed properly if you have the proper product ID and vendor ID connection numbers with respect to USB device. Okay, USB support 4 different type of data transfer. One is control transfer, bulk transfer, and isochronous data transfer, and interrupt transfer. If you are going for control transfer, used by USB system software to query, configure and issue commands to the USB device. With respect to control transfer, you can control the configurations, and you can give the commands to stop the transmission and copy the transmission, or whatever the commands you want to, you can give with respect to your USB device, you can give that one. That's why it can be taken as a control transfer. If you are going for bulk transfer, used for sending a block of data to a device, and supports error checking and correction, and transferring data to a printer is an example of bulk transfer. You will be connecting the USB to the printer, then only you can transfer the data. That is a bulk transfer with respect to the through the USB towards the printer. And isochronous data transfer uses a real-time data communication. Data is transmitted as a stream in real time and doesn't support error checking and retransmission of data in case of any transmission loss. If any problem comes, or if any transmission loss comes in a real-time data communications, at that time retransmission is not required. See, because whenever we are going with a real-time communication or real-time applications, always whenever one-time data only you have to transfer, or one-time data only will be accepted with respect to that time. For that reason, retransmission and transmission at the time of transmission loss, you can't ask for the retransmission, or you can't check for the error checking. And all streaming devices, also audio devices and medical equipments for data collection, make use of the isochronous transfer. See, whenever we are going with respect to ECGs or any medical device to see with respect to oxygen levels or pulse rates or whatever the things, always it should have a real time data transmission. If any error occurs in between, or if any error comes, then you have to remove that data and you have to wait for the next real time output. Okay, that's why in the medical devices and audio devices you will go for the isochronous data transfer. Interrupt transfer used for transferring small amount of data, and interrupt transfer mechanism make use of polling technique to see whether the USB device has any data to send. It will check for, is there any USB data to, is there any data has to be transmitted through the USB, then interrupt request will be provided. Okay, the frequency of polling is determined by the USB device and it varies from 1 to 255 milliseconds. Within that amount of time you have to transfer the data which is present in that USB device. Device like mouse, keyboard, which transmits fewer amount of data, uses interrupt transfer always. And in USB.org is the standard body for defining and controlling the standards for USB communication. And presently USB supports different data rates, that is low speed LS, that is 1.5 Mbps, that is for the USB version 1.5. With respect to full speed, FS, that is 12 Mbps USB version 1, and high speed with respect to that 480 Mbps with respect to USB 2.0 version, and super speed SS is 5 Gbps with respect to ESP 3.0 version. And nowadays you are getting the higher versions with respect to USB 3.1 and 3.2, where the speed of transmission is 10 Gbps and 20 Gbps. IEEE 1394, that is FireWire. IEEE 1394 is a wired isochronous high speed serial communication bus, and it is also known as high performance serial bus. And whenever we are transferring a data from your host device to the external device using the wires, that is using FireWire, then isochronous high speed serial communication bus, it is normally, as we have discussed in the previous topic, it can be used with respect to the medical devices where you are using the real time data transmissions. Okay, and it is also known as a high performance serial bus. And the research on 1934 has started by the Apple in 1985, and the standard for this as coined by IEEE. The implementation of 1394 is available for the various players with different names. That is FireWire is implementation from Apple, and iLink is implementation from Sony Corporation, and Linux is implementation from Texas Instrumentation. These are the different names which are used with respect to this IEEE 1394 serial data communication bus. This is 1394 supports peer-to-peer communication and point-to multi-point communication, allowing 63 devices to be connected on the bus in a tree topology. Whenever you are going with respect to this type of connections, peer-to-peer connection will be there, like host to the receiver and receiver to the transmitter. In that way, peer-to-peer connection will be there. And point to multi-point communication is also acceptable. One host device and many slave devices can be connected with respect to FireWire, and it allows more than till maximum of 63 devices to be connected on the bus in the tree topology. Okay, and 1394 is wired serial interface, and it can support a cable length of up to 15 feet for interconnection. You can go for the cable length of 15 feet for the interconnection between the host to the devices. And 1394 standard supports for a data rate of 400 to 3200 megabits per second. And the IEEE 1394 uses differential data transfer. It increases the noise immunity, and the interface cable supports three type of connectors, namely 4-pin connector, 6-pin connector, and 9-pin connectors. 6 and 9-pin connector carry power also to support external devices. It can supply unregulated power in the range of 24 to 30 volts. 4-pin to 6-pin connector. You can see the diagrams. This is the 4-pin connector, this is 6-pin connector, and this is a 9-pin connectors used with respect to firewire. Here you can see the pin connections, that is power line is available only with respect to 6-pin and 9-pin, that is given to the 1 and 2 for 6-pin and 8 and 6 pins for 9-pin connector. And TPB minus, TPB plus, TPA minus, and TPA plus, that is differential line for the signal line B, and signal line A is there. For the positive line and negative line, two lines will be there. Only these lines are available with respect to pin 4 connector. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 with respect to TPBA minus, TPB plus, and TPA minus and TPA plus. And if you are going for 6-pin, you have two extra lines, that is power and signal ground, and remaining are your differential signal lines. And for the 9-pin, all the 6 lines are with same as with respect to 6-pin connector. Remaining 3 lines are shield for differential signal line A and shield for differential signal line B. And you will be having no connection line for another one line pin. Okay. Then there are two differential data transfer lines, that is A and B as per the connection. And in 1934 cable, normally the differential lines of A are connected to B, that is TPA plus will be connected to TPB plus, and TPA minus is connected with respect to TPB minus. Okay, and vice versa. And 1394 is a popular communication interface for connecting the embedded devices like digital camera and camcorders, scanners to the document computers, and for the data transfer and storage. If you are going with respect to digital camera and camcorders and scanners and all, with respect to that you can do the proper communication. And IEEE 1394 doesn't require a host for communicating between the devices. For example, you can directly connect a scanner with respect to the printer for printing. See, if two devices are there, then also you can communicate. Two slave devices are there also, then both can be interconnected by using this firewire, and you can communicate through that. No need of host. It is not compulsory to have a host device. The data rate supported by the 1394 is a far higher than the one supported by USB 2.0 interface. In the 1394 hardware implementation is much costlier than the USB implementation. Compared to USB, your firewire hardware implementation is little costlier. What is this? Next we have infrared. The infrared is a serial half duplex line of sight based wireless technology for data communication. Now we came till now we were discussing related to wired communication with respect to external devices. If we are discussing related to wireless communication, we can go for infrared data transmission. Infrared you can represent it as IRDA, is a serial half duplex line of sight based wireless technology for data communication between devices, and it is in use from the olden days of communication, and you may be very familiar with it. The remote control of TV, VCD player, etc. work with respect to infrared. See, you can see, for example, TV remote control also have a infrared infrared communication ports. Whenever you are switching on the TV and all, always you should face that infrared transmitter light towards the receiver receiver section, because the line of sight is very important with respect to infrared communication. Always they should be in line to transfer the data. In older phones and all, when smartphone have evolution has started, at that time wireless transmission was with respect to infrared only. We use they have to place one mobile with another mobile facing each other, and with the proper line of communication, then only the data used to be transmitted. Okay, infrared communication technique uses infrared waves of electromagnetic spectrum for transmitting the data, and it supports the point-to-point and point-to-multi-point communication, provided all devices involved in the communication are within the line of sight. Point-to-point and point-to-multi-point communication you can do if the communication see, if the devices are aligned with respect to line of sight. The typical communication range for this infrared lies between the 10 centimeter to 1 meter, with maximum is 1 meter, but actually if we are going far, the distance becomes more, means the communication will be very slower, and also data loss can happen, and the range can be increased by increasing the transmitting power. Whatever the transmitting power we have, if it is high, then range can be increased. If it is low, then range should be reduced, and between that much amount of range only you have to communicate the data. Okay, IR supports the data rates range between the 9600 bits per second or 16 megabits to 16 megabits per second. That will be the range. Lowest range is 9600, highest range is 16 megabits per second. Depending on the speed of data transmission, IR is classified into serial IR, medium IR, and fast IR, very fast IR, and ultra fast IR. With respect to that, if you are going for serial IR, it supports with respect to 9600 BPS and to 115.2 K BPS for the data. Medium will support with respect to 0.5 Mbps and 1.15 Mbps. For fast IR, 4 Mbps is the speed. And if you are going for very fast IR, 16 Mbps, ultra fast IR will be having the most highest speed data transmission, will be having the 100 megabits per second transmission. This infrared communication involves a transmitter unit for transmitting the data over IR, and receiver will be having the receiver for receiving the data. Infrared light emitting diode is an IR source for transmitter, and the receiving end is the photodiode act as a receiver. See, whenever you are transmitting the data, you need to transmit the light as an infrared. For that reason, you will be having the light emitting diode which can transmit the infrared. At the receiver end, you will be having the photodiode which will detect this light, and it will give convert that light rays as an received data, and it will convert it into a voltage, and it will be given as an input for the receiver device. Both transmitter and receiver unit will be present in each device. Both transmitter and receiver unit will be present in each device and supporting IR communication in a bidirectional data. Such IR units are known as transceiver. See, whenever you are doing the bidirectional data communication, you can have both transmitter and receiver in both devices. And certain devices like a TV remote control always require only unidirectional, because you will be only controlling the TV, because you won't have any data transmission from the TV. You will be having the only data communication from your remote towards the TV. That's why unidirectional communication is enough with respect to TV remotes. And so they contain either the transmitter or receiver unit. See, transmitter will be present in the remote and receiver will be present in the television. The remote control unit contains the transmitter unit and TV contains the receiver unit.